Okay, so can you start by telling us who you are?
Amy Luckey.
Fantastic. What do you do, Amy?
I'm an independent consultant and I work with philanthropic foundations primarily,
Great,
nonprofits.
great. And so you were kind of a special case for Changemaker Bootcamp. We were talking, just kind of casually catching up on other things, and I was describing this whole Changemaker Bootcamp concept, and I was just about to start this second pilot, and you were interested in observing. And so I said, yeah, sure, that would be great. So what was it about what you were hearing that made you want to come and watch what was happening?
I heard you say things different than I'd heard before about the kinds of work you wanted to do with individuals, and I was intrigued. Really, it was just a curiosity. And in particular, I thought it was interesting hearing you as someone who's worked with organizations and seeing how far you can get in that kind of consulting capacity, both in terms of what you can do for your organizations you're working with, but also how that works for you as a consultant, as a person trying to create change in the world. I really heard in you this need to do something different, to create a different kind of a change possibly, or than what the consulting model provides. And again, that's very intriguing to me, especially as someone who is a consultant and can see the pluses and minuses of working in that way, both for the people I'm working for, but also for me as a consultant, and the challenges of often going in and making recommendations, leaving, they put up on a shelf or what have you, can be dissatisfying. And this new way of working and working with individuals, and it just appealed to me in a lot of different ways.
What did you think you would see?
It was so interesting. I'm really not sure exactly how much of a preconceived notion I had of it. I knew practice. I did know that because you did articulate that up front. I think not knowing what I'd see, if I had to say I had a preconceived notion, I had a picture more of a standard training where there'd be someone teaching and then practice. So there's some tools provided and then some attempt to use those.
So what did you end up seeing?
A lot more hands-on practice. You being more hands-off and more setting a stage and letting people play in that space. And a lot more, maybe not than I expected, but one thing I really loved about the bootcamp was how much wisdom came from the group. That a lot of the learnings and benefits came from people sharing their observations and insights with each other and not simply coming from you. However, I do think that your meta-analyses, your ability to be in the room and present and looking at the big picture, I think your reflections seemed really, really valuable for the participants as well. Because they were different, they're qualitatively different. You didn't dig in so much about, let's say how Renee should do her logic modeling or theory of change work with her organization. You looked at how the group processed that information, how the group worked together.
So you mentioned kind of the meta-analysis piece. Were there other things that you thought worked well in the process?
I thought the intimacy of the group, it was 4 people, I thought that worked really well. I think that and again, that helped with sharing wisdom and insights with each other, because they built over the course of the several weeks a lot of trust and respect for each other, which, because it was so intimate, I think they were able to do. Also, it could be the unique set of women. They were amazing women with very different personalities, and so it was a very complementary set of people. So I thought the size worked very well, and also because they could all really practice. Unlike trainings where there's some role playing, there's some practice. Generally, you have a lot more people, and it's harder to actually get that time for everybody to play.
What do you think could have been better?
I don't know if I'd say better, but I do think it's going to be an iterative process. I think for each of the things you want to teach, you did it once and then you tweaked the way you presented it, or not just presented it, but the kind of way you let people practice. I think it's going to keep iterating and keep getting better and better. So there's nothing in particular that I thought could have been done better, but I suspect that you're just going to keep tweaking the practice tools, or what do you call them,
Workouts.
Workouts. Yeah. You're going to keep tweaking the workouts, so they're going to get better and better.
Do you have any questions in your mind that come up when you think about boot camp?
some of the do you want to stop?
No, it's all right.
One other thing I really want to say about what worked really well, I thought the role playing was really phenomenal. Just I want to put that out there. That role playing is something we all give a lot of lip service to, and we don't get that much chance to do. And I thought giving folks a chance to do that, almost for every lesson, for every workout, can include role play. Not time, but that would be amazing. I'm curious about how is it going to work with more people. How big can you go and still have the benefit of the intimacy? And how much does that matter? Like, I see it as a value, but maybe that's not actually that important for boot camp. And also the consistency of the players. Does it matter that the same people come over and over for 6 weeks in order for the workouts to work? Or is it really like boot camp, where anybody can come in and out, the group can keep changing, there's flow, there can be a lot of people, a few people, and still get a lot of benefit. And then the other thing is this, what's the role of Eugene Camp? And how essential is that for boot camp to go well? Can other people take your model and implement it without your group process skills and experience? That like you said, you don't necessarily say very much in boot camp, but what you say is highly insightful, really valuable. What if you're not there? Is it what's lost? And but I'm sure this thing's gained too. So my big picture question is how to do this really as boot camp. A series of workouts. What is boot camp? What does that look like over time?
Now that you've had a chance to experience it and to see it, how would you describe it to other people?
I think it's a space to practice, working with people, working on key pieces of, you've identified these core competencies, and so there's a chance to really practice increasing your skills at those core competencies. So it's highly hands-on. The learning is going to come from you in the group as opposed to a set of tools provided by a trainer. It's unique.
Do you have any other thoughts? Anything you didn't have a chance to say? Did you like those thoughts?
I'm really excited for you. I think that, as I said before, I think you're doing something really, I think it's unique. Especially if you take the logic of boot camp and really, as I try to play with, okay, really, this is just like the boot camp model for fitness. It's really different than anything that's done. And I think that, there's something really satisfying about working with individuals and seeing individuals who are committed to being there and want to grow in their skills and capacities, and witnessing them do that is really satisfying.
Thank you.